Hi, do you know that feeling when you open a computer and you look at all the things you need to do and the list is endless and all seems super important? You start right away. You hustle, you commit code, resolve GitHub issues, talk to project leads, remove bugs, and code new features. And yes, if you work as a freelancer like me, you also talk to clients, do offers, send bills, and look for new clients. Creating and updating courses and mentoring and writing articles is also on my list. Your list can seem so long, and the days seem shorter and shorter. Well, you're not the only one. Most of my life I've been working as a freelance developer, and many times I've been struggling with time. With years, my perspectives have changed. More and more I value free time, and it is clear to me that working more does not mean more things done. Also, I'm a mother. I have a family. My family comes first. I'm not the smart one here. I learn, I improve, and I iterate. I'm going to share some things I've learned along the way. Or let's say I find and refine effective ways of time management. And I'm super curious, what works for you? I'm not the one who has it all figured out, and I'm super interested in what works for you. I just recently implemented a new way of planning my time and it helps me a lot. What I've learned is that if I don't plan my day, I can spend all day working and procrastinating. Procrastinating is another big issue I can do a whole series about. In my case, procrastination usually has a root in not knowing why. I'm not being in touch with my why. What is the reason I'm doing this for? Do I have a vision? Do I believe it is possible? When I don't plan my day, I end up with a to-do list that is still half full and I'm super tired. And when I don't have enough free time, I'm tired way sooner and the effectiveness goes down the drain. Does that happen to you too? Here is what I do. I plan my day, not only work time, but also free time. So I started to plan my days. But not only work time, also free time. This might seem super strange to many of you. Why plan free time? Is it not the point of free time to be able to do what you want? It sure is. But I have noticed that if I don't plan my free time kind of evaporates. Well, what I started to do is plan my free time too. And since I do, I enjoy my free time much better. I can still be in bed all day and read a book or do nothing. But I planned for it. And I enjoy it because I know this is exactly what I want to be doing. And I don't think I should be doing this and that. It frees me because I know all will have its time. Okay, so how do I plan my days then? I will show you the tools I use in a minute. I simplified it. Too complicated things don't work for me. Before I go into details, I'd like to share a few more tips that I think are also important. The first one is, don't overwork and take breaks. What I find useful is the Pomodoro Technique. I use Pomodoro on and off. It is based on how our brains work. Google Pomodoro and you'll find it. I use it most of the time, except for my tiger moments. Are you curious about tiger moments? Hang here with me and find out. So I have a simple Pomodoro app called Tomato One, which tells me when it is time to do a break. Even though my mind goes, hustle, hustle, make it done. The next important thing is remove distractions. Do not open Facebook, Instagram, and disable notifications, at least for 2 hours minimum. Even better, for at least 5 hours of the day. A little notification here and there is just disturbing your thought pattern. Your mind goes to Wonderland. For example, on YouTube, you can aggregate notifications and set at what time you want to receive them. Way better than getting pinged all the time. Also, my email notifications are permanently off, just because of this. If I read the email, then I start thinking about it. And my mind is again away from what it was doing. I do check email 2 or 3 times a day, usually after lunch. I only have Slack when working with a client, and this is it. I know myself, my mind would like to wander. Wander, wander, wander. If you are working from home, some people might consider that you are home, which means you are free. Some people just don't get it, and that the programming is not just sitting at the computer. I, for example, cannot switch on and off as I please. You need to talk to your family members. Explain that you being home is not the same as you being home. And I never work when my kid is home. It would only frustrate me and her. And then the important tip. Help yourself. Use code snippets, keyboard shortcuts, automation and more. To code faster, use code snippets and keyboard shortcuts. You can automate tasks when possible. For example, you can create a script to create a folder structure for your next project. A simple boring task that can be automated. And this one will also seem boring, but make time to have an organized folder structure. Ain't nothing more time wasting than a cluttered computer. And use bug trackers, testing frameworks, browser extensions to speed up your work. You can also find tools that speed up certain tasks, like for example Emmet to create HTML and CSS tags. Try to create a peaceful and productive work environment. Some people might find easy music soothing. For me, it's distracting. The only distraction I tolerate is my cat. Well, my 2 cats that come to my lap when I code. They are actually soothing for me. Nothing like a soft fur and a purr. And now my last tip. Set the time for learning. Do not get overwhelmed by work. You cannot be a good coder if you don't follow trends. You know what I love? I love podcasts. I listen to them when I go shopping or when I iron clothes. I listen to all sorts of stuff, from web development to brain training, mindset to relationships. All that is interesting to me. Also, while driving, it is a perfect time to listen to podcasts. So let's go back to my first tip, planning your days. I will go into more detail now. How do I plan my days? I do it once a week. I set up the time to plan my days. That is the first thing, to have a special time to do it. I usually do it on Sunday evening or Monday morning. I set it for 1 hour, when I know I will be completely alone. No one will bother me. And I also turn off the phone notifications. This is a time for me to make decisions, so I don't want to be bothered. And the next thing I do is write all the things I want to do this week. Get it out of your head. I actually write to this list the whole week. Now I add more things. I try to think about as many things as possible. It's not just for work, it's also for home errands. All the stuff I have in my mind. My brain is not meant to store data. My brain is a tool for thinking and not storing data. So I want to put it all out. From shooting another video, to making a chatbot for a client, to calling my kid's dentist. This should not be in there. I use Trello for this. I like using Trello for all sorts of stuff. A simple piece of paper and a pen would also be good. But I like to use Trello. An idea might pop up to my head while I'm outside shopping or doing something for my client. I want to add stuff to the list when it happens. For all more complicated things, I break it down. For example, doing a chatbot for a client might have the planning of a conversation path, describing all the data, creating entities and so on. And shooting a video might have coming up with the idea, researching, writing the script, shooting myself talking and so on. I need to break it down to smaller tasks so I can assess how much time it will take me. When I have the list, I open Google Calendar. I use Google Calendar to plan things. I have a calendar for work, calendar for my kid, calendar for all sorts of stuff. And it is only one me, so I don't want to mix it up. But before I add stuff to my calendar, I do one important thing, a super important thing. I think of what is my goal? What do I want to achieve? For example, my list might have all the things I want to do, like 100 ideas for videos, ideas to start doing a podcast, a project idea, and all sorts of random stuff. If only they had 100 hours, then I might be able to do all the things I want. So I have to use the Pareto principle. And that is, what is the 20% of things that will help you achieve your goal faster? I want to have satisfied clients, so creating that chatbot on time would be on the list. Creating another video for my course or my YouTube channel is also what I want to do. And doing client consultation is probably going to be there too. Set up an appointment for the dentist also. But juggling and podcast creation probably won't make it. That does not mean I will never do it. But I want to have a list of most effective work. All the rest would be good. Yes, it would be great if I could do a podcast, but not right now. And from the video ideas, I will just pick the one that is aligned with what I want to focus on. And when I have the list of that 20%, I start putting it on the calendar. And now let me tell you something shocking. I start with the free time activities. I add lunchtime. That is actually the same every day. Then I add time for the rest. And I add time for reading and watching something I like. For example, right now I'm watching a course on masterclass.com, a course from Chris Voss, ex-negotiator from CIA. And I'm so amazed at his face. I have not seen such an interesting face in a long time. So many expressions on only one face. Mesmerizing. Well, what he teaches is also super useful, especially if you want to get along with people. I will also schedule a time to clean my office. And on Tuesday and Thursday, I want to have space for client calls with my potential clients, so I don't put here anything. I also want to start my day with a little exercise. I wake up at 6 and get my kids to kindergarten by 8. And I'm home a bit after 8. So I start with a morning exercise and then I make myself coffee. In the afternoon I have my kids, so this is where I can add ice skating or visit a friend or whatever activity I do with my kid. Sometimes I have a mentoring call in the evening because my clients are all over and in different time zones. These are all the things I need to think of. When I have my free time, I will add the next important thing, and that is 2 hours of highly productive work. My most productive work is before lunch. I have 2 hours when I create the majority of that day. The most creative stuff goes in there. Stuff where I want to be highly concentrated. That is when I want to write articles, shoot videos, and do most of the planning and hard coding. Also taxes would come to these 2 hours. I want to be concentrating and not being interrupted when I do taxes. The easy tasks come around that. So answering students on Udemy, solving GitHub issues, some easy chatbot coding, and writing an email to clients, editing videos, and creating a thumbnail. That all goes around. I make sure I give myself enough time. But again, not too much. What I also add is rollover time. That is the time for whatever comes up that I could not anticipate. Or if some task took longer than I thought. I try to learn from previous mistakes and give myself enough time, but still not too much. Too little time makes me anxious and too much time makes me lazy. And then I start procrastinating, watching Facebook or whatever. I want to give myself just enough time to still keep me engaged and motivated and a little challenged. Rollover time is here to give me space. And this is it. When I have my schedule, I commit to doing it. I'm extra careful not to give myself too little time. And I want to stick to it as much as possible. Especially the 2 turbo hours. I call those 2 hours my tiger moment hours. Tiger hours are my highly productive hours. They should be honored by removing all notifications and all disturbances. Here is a calendar for my previous week. The next step is my favorite step. Throw away the list. Keep only what's necessary. When I add all necessary stuff on the calendar, I remove them from Trello. This is the important part. Consider it done. Removing from Trello is super important. Once it is on the calendar, it should not go back to Trello. This is a commitment you need to do to yourself. So what about distractions? Well, I try to plan for them too, as much as I can. If some client calls, I schedule the appointment in the time for clients. I say I cannot talk right now. My time management is a work in progress, but since I plan my time in detail, I see I'm way more free than I was before. So what about not finishing tasks on time? What I do is try to learn from my mistakes. If I did not finish in time, what was the reason? Did I forget a step? Was I too optimistic? How can I avoid this in the future? Think of it as a work in progress. You will fail, you will miss, but if you learn and iterate, sooner or later you will get better at it. And life gets way better when you are in control of your life, instead of just reacting to it. But do I always stick with it? Well, sometimes I change my daily tasks around a bit. Maybe I take an afternoon nap sooner as I have planned. But I do commit to doing it all, including free time. And sometimes things happen. On Thursday, my cats had a night party. They woke me up all night long, and I had to get up at 6 to take my kids to kindergarten. I did not feel good after coming home. So what I did was take an hour and a half for a nap. I decided not to feel bad for breaking my schedule, but I had to do some activities then Friday evening. I tried to be good to myself, and valuing my time is being good to myself. I strive for balance, and this is my step-by-step plan for planning my day. So the step-by-step plan is like this. Set the time to do the planning, and then get it out of your head, all of it. Select what will take you to your goal faster. Use the Pareto principle. And start with free time activities. Do not forget the free time. Then set 2 hours of deep concentrated work. Call it your tiger time, or whatever makes it more valuable to you. Add the rest around and do not forget to plan for distractions and things that could show up. Then last, throw away the list and commit to doing what is on the calendar. So this is how I manage my time. I commit not to overwork, and I commit to creating daily plans, to live consciously and purposefully. Having a daily plan lets me do this. I also enjoy my free time more, because I don't have to think what should be done and what I should be doing. If it is not on the weekly calendar, it was not important. I will think about the important things in my next planning session. I also commit to taking breaks. Pomodoro helps me with that. Also, I know I will be more effective if I'm not too tired. I commit to removing distractions, like my phone notifications. We are all a bit hooked. I'm hooked too, I admit. Then I commit to help myself the best I can. And I set time for learning. And here is a recap of my video. Plan your day. Take breaks and use the Pomodoro Technique. Remove distractions, at least at the 2 hours of concentrated work, the tiger moments. Then help yourself. To code faster, use code snippets and keyboard shortcuts. Use automations. Have an organized folder structure. Use bug trackers, testing frameworks, and browser extensions. Then find tools that speed up certain tasks, like Emmet for HTML and CSS. And talk to your co-workers or family members if you work from home. Then create a peaceful and productive work environment. And lastly, set the time for learning. For example, to listen to podcasts. This is it. Let me know what you do. I'm super curious what works for you. I'm learning and I'm sharing what I've learned. This is how it goes. We give and receive a little. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I value your time too. You can find this video in a form of an article too. Click the link below. So follow me here on YouTube and see you in the next video. Bye bye!